As we serve our mission to improve eyesight through education, research, and access to care, it is this research piece that is so exciting right now, because through this work we're supporting, we truly are making a difference in the eyes of the world.
Why is vision research important? Well, to start with, let's look at some numbers. 80 million Americans have eye disease right now, and 14 million Americans have low vision. 2/3 of the adults with vision impairments are over age 65, and the number of Americans over 65 will double to 68 million people by the year 2030. Macular degeneration is the leading cause of blindness for all Americans, while diabetic retinopathy is the leading cause for those under 65. And 50% of those patients are diagnosed too late for treatment to be effective. 3 million Americans have glaucoma. More than half of them are not receiving treatment because they are unaware of their condition.
People are appropriately terrified of going blind. The Callan Eye Foundation, the department, has saved the vision in many, many people.
Surveys have shown that people fear loss of vision second only to cancer.
I woke up on November 13th, 2012, and there was a white spot on my eye. And I knew something was wrong, and it was actually, there's stuff coming out of my eye. It was leaking. I went to the IER where Dr. McCollum diagnosed me with the corneal ulcer. I said, can you save my eye? Dr. McCollum referred me to Dr. Fowler, and she was able to prescribe the medicines that stopped the corneal ulcer from growing, and it was able to contain it. Dr. Fowler has now referred me to Dr. Rosenstiel, who is outfitting me with the contact lens that is going to be able to help me see.
Many infants and young children are at a high risk for vision problems. Some can be fixed easily if they're caught soon enough.
Anderson was diagnosed with a pediatric cataract when he was 11 months old, and that's when we first were introduced to the world of pediatric ophthalmology. When we initially met Dr. Kogan, the first day he answered every question I had. I never felt rushed. I think he's so research-based and so in tune with his profession that he's able to understand it on the scientific level and the medical level, but he understands it so much that he can take what he knows and explain it to me, someone who had never even heard of a pediatric cataract.
I was diagnosed with cataracts in both eyes. I had surgery on my left eye 6 weeks ago. After this surgery, I could read better, see nature better, the animals, movies, TV.
My son Blake was diagnosed with infantile glaucoma when he was 12 months old. He had his first surgery 3 days after being diagnosed. He had his second surgery 6 months later. My hope is that one day, through research, they are able to find what causes infantile glaucoma.
The Eyesight Foundation has invested over $26 million into research activities at UAB in our 16-year history. We want to alleviate the financial burden and suffering brought about by vision loss. We want better treatments for existing conditions, injuries, and diseases, and we want to cure or reverse the diseases that rob our community of their vision. We want to unlock the mysteries of why these diseases occur in the first place, and ultimately, we want to prevent eye disease in the future.
Honestly, I want to revolutionize how people take care of children with vision impairment.
We are so very close to coming to several different breakthroughs in vision research. It's really, really important for us to really figure out exactly what is happening in these retinas so we can really help these patients.
We would like to create a gene therapy for patients with retinitis pigmentosa. The goal is to create a treatment that would be available for patients at the late stages of retinal degeneration.
This is a disease that affects people during their prime working years. So these are people in their 30s, 40s, 50s when they should be at their most productive, and their vision is being taken away from them.
We are trying to correct gene defects, and rather than just treating them with a virus like is being done today, we're trying to actually change the genome to remove defects in the genome.
It's very important to be able to arrest the progression of AMD, but From the population standpoint and from a personal standpoint for an older adult, they'd rather not have the disease at all. So our research is focusing on prevention.
So what we're trying to do now is actually inject a different light-sensitive protein using a viral vector into the retina and turn all of the ganglion cells light-sensitive. And then what we can do is restore useful vision to individuals who've lost the cones and rods in those areas of the retina.
And so we've been trying to find techniques where we can use a very small volume of tear fluid and find out as much as we can about the patient's dry eye.
But if the eye damaged like the AMD, and that can affect the life quality of a human. So I hope we can do something to help people for better life quality, to save or prevent vision loss in the future.
Of course, sight is such a precious thing for all of us that I want to know why things go wrong with it, how it works normally, how we can keep it working normally and avoid the blinding problems.
So our research involves glaucoma, which is the second leading cause of blindness in the developed world. We study that disease in the context of ocular biomechanics, which is basically how the eye responds to the pressure that's within it. Your eye is like a basketball, it's pressurized. And typically glaucoma is associated with elevated intraocular pressure, and we want to understand how that pressure affects the tissues and why some people are relatively immune to it while others are not.
I want to share the good news that AMD is a treatable disease. I want to improve the basis by which diagnosis is made in the clinic.
This Eyesight Foundation not only provided us the individual research grants, but also provided the infrastructure that we need for doing vision research in the vision sciences. It has provided us funds for recruitment of faculty, equipment, and also the infrastructure that is needed for doing research. That means providing the space in Walker Hall that is so important for us because of the expanding vision science community at UAB.
It has provided seed money for us to be able to start these outrageous, outlandish, fantastic ideas that we have, do research on it, get a breakthrough, and then obtain the hard-to-get funding from other places like the National Eye Institute.
All the support of the Eyesight Foundation, core support, the Vision of Excellence, the research acceleration, those are going directly to fund and support science and education.
The thing that's happening that's never happened before, and I don't think has happened anywhere else in the entire world, is that optometry and ophthalmology are getting together and forming a common vision for how we move forward with vision research. And so I think in the next 5, maybe 10 years at the most, that's all going to gel and come together, and you're going to see an explosion of success in vision research.
So the difference between a mediocre place and an excellent place is really 3 things. It's access to resources. So the Eyesight Foundation of Alabama is the backbone of why ophthalmology here can be so great. I mean, that is a thing that attracts people like me. I mean, we have the best ocular biomechanics group in the world. The second thing is a commitment to excellence. And everybody I've met at UAB, and especially in ophthalmology and the foundation itself, are all committed to excellence. I mean, they don't want anything but the best work, the best research, the best teaching, best education, best resident training. That's what they're about, best clinical care. And then the third thing is leadership. You can have all those other things and not be good without great leadership. You have a young, dynamic, visionary clinician scientist who really sees where this needs to be in 20 years. And that is going to turn UAB ophthalmology into a top 10 program in the next 10 years.
We have a varied group of amazing, strong vision research scientists, and support like that from the Eyesight Foundation is just crucial and remarkable.
Without the support from the foundation, much of the scientific good we do for public health and society would not have been possible. And I just want to thank the foundation very much for believing in us.
The support I've received from the Eyesight Foundation has been incredible. I mean, it really has launched my career.
The reason eye research is important is that behind every drug, behind every surgical procedure, behind everything we do with the patient lies years and years of research.
Making a difference in the eyes of the world. That's what we do.